Hello everybody and welcome to my first episode in my Let's Play of Fishing North Atlantic. This is a game that I haven't played in quite some time and I never actually fully completed it. I quit playing, not because I didn't enjoy the game, but because other games came out and I just never got back around to playing it. So, as y'all can tell, I do not have the DLC packs for this game. However, it may be something we might look into later down the road if this series kind of kicks off. A little bit about this game is that this game came out several years ago, and I didn't really find it until kind of recently. And I think it's actually a pretty fun game to play. So, without further ado, we'll head into it. Alright, guys, so when you first start up a game, you can create a character name. For now, we'll just call it Bob Jackson. That was the generated name that the game came up with. I'm a male. We don't need to start with a tutorial. However, if you're new to the game, I highly recommend it. As far as the game options go, we are going to keep fast travel on. We're going to keep the fish gear helper. Not actually sure what that does. That might be we'll look at it here in a little bit, but there's a little ring that appears next to your ship when you get close to the buoys and stuff. That may be what that's about. We're not going to keep the port patrol on. All that does is enforce the 6-knot speed zones around ports. I'm not going to keep that on for simplicity's sake, but if you are for the realism, then absolutely go for it. Habitat extinction is just that. Your habitats, every fish has at least 2 habitats, if I remember correctly, and if you have that on, you can actually drive them into extinction, and once that habitat is extinct, it will no longer produce fish for the remainder of your game until you start a new one. So, as far as that goes, then you can choose your difficulty, easy, hard, or a custom. I've actually never really messed with the custom. I guess you could start with, I guess, a couple different boats there. I'm not sure. I know which one that No Yankee is. I'm not sure which one Mickey is. You can customize your start date and stuff. We're just going to do the easy start for this time, and we'll go from there. Alright, folks, and here we are, and this is the No Yankee. This is a lobster crabbing vessel right here at Yarmouth, which is the port that we start out with. Here's the map. For those that are unfamiliar, up here we have a port. We have a port there. We have a port here, here, and here. I believe there's 6 ports total. You can see all the different types of fish we have here. Now, some of these we're not going to be able to go after right now. Obviously, really any of the fish. Because we don't really have a fishing ship, we have a crabbing ship. With that being said, we can go after lobsters, and right now we're still a long ways off till we get to snow crabs. Snow crab vessels are pretty expensive. But these are pretty neat. We can actually place these around the map, so if we come across a habitat or a group of lobster, we can actually drop that on the map and say, oh, hey, there's some lobster there, and it shows a few seconds ago, and as time progresses, it'll turn into days, minutes, hours, days, so on. Over here we have our logbook. We have a journal, catch, gear, sales, statistics, and habitats. Here's actually the habitats we were talking about. So yeah, most of them have 1 to 2 habitats. I'm not sure, and I always forget some of the names of these fish. Like that's a redfish and stuff like that. But I get some of these other ones confused sometimes. I have to look them up. But for some reason, this one shows up to 8 habitats, and I don't know that I've ever actually seen that many in the game. I'm not sure if this is meant to be like that or what. I'm assuming so, since they have all these habitats named, but I've never really come across that. I mostly do a lot of lobster fishing, and I'll do some long line fishing with some redfish and stuff. So anyways, we have a little wiki here, which is pretty neat. We can actually go through all the fish, what they like, what they eat, their seasons. There's actually seasons in this game, and you actually can't catch these fish out of season. I've never tried it. Maybe you can, but you'll probably get a penalty because there is fines if you catch fish that are like undersized or lobsters that are undersized. So that's pretty neat. Then their bait, what percent chances you have to catch something based on the bait. And you have all your fishing tools. Whether it's harpooning, lobster, snow crabbing, net fishing, long line. Talks about gutting, your autopilot system's pretty neat. Under the finance section, we have a ledger. We have fish prices, which as we go around and discover more places, we'll find those fish prices, and it'll all be listed here, so we can be like, oh, okay, hey, Yarmouth has selling or buying lobster at $9.66 a pound. So loans were debt free right now, and then missions. And I really don't do a lot of missions in this game. So we'll dock here. And so one of the first things you want to do is go to, sorry, I'm skipping through all this stuff. I'm kind of aware of it. Hope I don't miss something that I kind of forgot. But anyways, once you go to the bar, you can go and check out the tips. And so we can get, hey, look, get lobster location from today. We're going to purchase that. And from 3 days ago, I think that was a week and 3 days ago. We can go over here to the map and go, hey, look, right here. So there's 3 lobsters 5 hours ago and lobsters 3 days ago. So that's a pretty good little time frame right there to narrow that down. Now, the biggest issue with starting out a new game is that your ship really doesn't have a whole lot. It's just you. This ship, if I remember correctly, can only support you. You can't hire any crew to help you out, so you got to do all the manual labor yourself. So first thing we need to do is come over here and get some fishing gear. So we're going to buy some small pots. I got $27,000. Let's just go ahead and for now we'll just buy 5 pots. As far as bait, we'll go ahead and buy a maximum amount of bait, because I seem to forget to buy that sometimes. Oh, let's see. Okay, town, bank. So a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll find some loans to buy, or loans to take out, that'll actually get me up to another ship. So every port has a different shipyard, and they have different types of ships we can buy. Oh, that's the Mickey. That's that other ship. Okay, that's a harpooning boat. I never really got into harpooning or deep lines or anything like that. That's a trawling. Yeah, it's a trawling boat. Never really got into trawling either. We may have to explore that some. Oh, and this is a coaster. This is actually based off of, from what I've been told, based off of one of the ships from Deadliest Catch on the Discovery Channel, is what I've always heard. Don't know how true that is, though. So yeah, well, let's go ahead and head out to sea. So here we are in our ship, No Yankee, and we're going to run out to our little fishing area out there. So there's kind of 2 main ways to travel in the game. One is obviously by sailing your ship there. The other way is to use the map and the little quick travel system. So you come down here and you'll click the little flag and you can place these little waypoints. And you can't go across land, so you have to actually, like, you know, go through it. However, just from playing the game, I know that right over here, if I remember right, is a hidden boat. And once you find these hidden boats, you can then purchase them. So you have your normal ships in the shipyard, and then you also, yeah, right there, see on the little mini map right there, there's this little question mark that tells you there's some kind of point of interest there. And it just so happens that in this one, it's that you find this boat. So right there, so that way now we can now buy that boat at Yarmouth Port. And we'll check that boat out here in a little bit. We're going to go out here and set some lines real quick. So that's kind of your main 2 ways of traveling. And I know there's another point of interest right here. We're going to go ahead and grab that. And this is the lighthouse. And this is just a fast travel point. So we can actually just click on that and fast travel to it. So for some time and simplicity's sake, we're just going to go ahead and fast travel all the way out here real quick. Alright, and we are here. We are now in the area, so we're going to check our sonar. And the way the sonar works in this game is right over here on this side is anything that pops up there is directly underneath us. Anything behind is what is obviously behind us. Now my sonar isn't exactly upgraded right now, so I can't actually see the bottom. So this might get a little interesting, but hopefully we get in some shallower water as we come up to this location, this known location of some lobsters. And worst case scenario, we will just drop a couple of pots and hope for the best, because I'm sure they're in this area with a marker for 5 hours. Alright, and there we are. We can see that we just kind of went over some lobster right there. So I'm going to go ahead and hop in the first person here, and as you can see, the first person is actually pretty well detailed. So We have a little searchlight. We have all of our work lights, which I'm going to go ahead and turn those on. I always keep those on just because once it gets dark, it gets dark. You can press F and you can get up. There's little buttons and doors and stuff you can go to sometimes and check things out on your ship. Ooh, I'm actually kind of stuck right there. Okay, so first things first, what we need to do is we need to get a pot. So we'll grab a pot, we'll put it up on the rack, we'll grab some frozen bait, we'll bait the pot, and then we'll set the pot. Well, once it closes, there we go, set the pot. Alright, so we just set our first pot. Come back over here, and you can actually change this right here to show your sonar too. I honestly, I don't play a lot in first person here in this game, but you can. And it is fun sometimes, but I think this is that little tool assistant thing I was saying in the setup screen. So we have to be more than 100 meters from the previous pot before we can set another one, and I think we're probably pretty close to there, if not there. So we're just going to go ahead and grab another some more bait, another pot. Oh, you can't set it yet, but what you can do is you can set it from driving. So as you can see, you can't set the pot within it right there. We can set it right there, so we'll go ahead and set that one there. There wasn't actually anything beneath us there, but we'll hope for the best. What I've learned is you can actually kind of set your throttle, and it'll just keep driving. And we'll just set some pots as we go along here, and like I said, hopefully we get something. So I'll see y'all guys here in a minute once I've set all these pots. Alright, and we've set all of our pots here. You can see I kind of made a strange little route there, but hey, it works, and we'll see what we get out of this. So there's two ways of kind of waiting. So the best time is, I think you got to wait really a minimum of 4 hours before you can pick them up, but the opportune time is like 18 to 20 hours. And you'll know that because as you can see right here, these are all red. And when they're red, it means that either it's not ready to pick up, because I set that one 23 minutes ago, or it's overdue on the pickup, and that can create a less amount of yield. So there's really two ways to kind of skip time, and the first one is to just go back to port, and at port you can just wait and skip time. Or you can come over here, and every ship has a clock somewhere, and in this boat it just happens to be here, and you can click on that clock and then you can choose to skip time. So we're going to skip time about 19 hours, and we'll see what happens. Alright, and here we are 19 hours later, and you can see that these are now blue, which means they're ready for pickup. So we'll head on over there and see if we can't start hauling some lobster in. Alright, here we are pulling up to our first pot here, and the way this works is we'll pull up alongside of it, and once it's inside that little red area, it'll turn green. And we can hold the button there to haul that pot. Right there. And then at this point, we'll find our winch button here, and we'll start hauling that pot up. And there it is. And we'll come over here, we'll grab the pot, set it on the rack, open it. Ooh, I messed up. Gotta put that guy back. We need to grab a bucket. We need to open it up. Then we can grab our lobster. We can see that the way that we measure these is you want it to be from the eyes to the beginning of the tail. It's got to be 3 inches. So this guy actually needs to go back. He's not big enough. This guy, you can see there, this guy is good enough. So what we'll do is we'll rubber band his claws, put him in the bucket. Same thing. That guy is probably good to go. And if they're not good to go, what happens is we get a little fine when we go to sell them at port. So there's one down. So I'll see y'all here in a little bit once I get the rest of these picked up. Alright guys, so I picked up that first pot, and currently we have 17,000 pounds in our storage remaining. We only got 139 pounds of lobster on that last run, and that's actually really low. So hopefully we do a little bit better. As y'all can see, I've got the second pot here loaded up, so we'll see what we get out of this one. Alright, second pot is picked up, and we got 292 pounds out of that one. So, got a little bit more than the last one. You can see we got 62 lobsters. In that first pot we had 32. So, we will see how much we get here. Probably aren't going to get a whole lot. That's alright. That's alright. Alright, third pot. Grab our bucket. That one's a keeper. That one's a keeper. That one's good. That one's good. Oh, this one might turn out pretty good. Ooh, that one's close. Don't really want the penalty though, just in case it is. Alright, so there's the third one. Close that up and we'll store it. And 293 pounds of fish that time, so a little bit more than last time by about a pound. We'll head on over to the fourth one. Alright guys, so we're at the fourth one now. We're going to go ahead and haul this one up, see what kind of yield we get out of this. Grab our bucket, open it up, open our pot. That's a pretty good sized crab or lobster right there. I keep saying crab. I don't know why I'm doing that. That one's a small one. Go back. I love the little splashes that the sound makes when you throw them back in. Ooh, go ahead and chunk him. Right now, I want to make money, and the fines really aren't that much, but they can be enough to kind of be a little bit of a hindrance when you're this level. Oh man, I'm throwing them all out. Ugh. Somebody in this, somebody down in the comments section knows a little bit more about what's close and what's not close. Let me know. Because sometimes I feel like I'm throwing away more of them than I really should. Alright, we'll go over to the fifth one and we'll check it out. And we'll head on into port and sell our catch. Alright, and there's our last, final, and fifth pot and bucket going in. Ooh, only 132 there, 228 on that fourth one. So first, second, third, fourth, and then fifth pot. Alright, well we will head on back in to port and sell these, so we'll see y'all there. Alright, here we are back at Yarmouth, and we do have fish on board, and yes, we would like to sell them, so got about $10,000 off of that. Oh, we had 4 of them that were undersized, so I messed up on collecting for them, so that's net loss of $4,000 right there. And so if I would have done right, we might be looking at more around $13,000 to $14,000. We'll go ahead and sell that. So now we're up to $34,000. So right here at the start of the game, it's a pretty decent little grind. We can't forget to buy fuel too and make our ship repairs. However, so there's the board, and it's a long line boat, which might actually bring us a little more money in earlier. I never discovered the board, and I'm probably not pronouncing that right, so I apologize. I believe it's Norwegian. I never actually discovered this ship until rather late game on my first playthrough, so I never actually purchased it. But there is another ship that I am thinking about going and finding, and we should be able to unlock it fairly quickly. I think it only costs about $100,000 to $150,000, and it was a really good ship with crew, and really got me a long ways in the early game when I discovered it. So we might have to check that out maybe next episode. Alright everybody, well I appreciate y'all for joining me on my first episode here on this new YouTube channel of mine. Please consider liking, subscribing the video, and checking it out. Let me know in the comments section if y'all want to see more gameplay from this. I also have a lot of other Let's Play ideas and other games that I really plan on showcasing more in the future. So, y'all guys let me know what y'all like to see, and we'll go from there. Alright, everybody, thank you.